Hey, I'm Jonathan from Anomalo. Today I'm going to show you Anomalo's new extension for Google's Gemini CLI. Now, if you don't know, Gemini CLI is a popular AI developer tool. It gives developers a conversational interface for their existing workflows and connects into all of their typical developer tools. Now, with the Anomalo extension added, you can understand data in your data warehouses, check on your data quality, run pre-deployment verifications, and even explain data quality failures, all from this super easy conversational interface. It has access to all of your code and your data infrastructure, so it lets you stitch together your work really easily. So here's how it works. With the Gemini CLI installed, you're going to go into your configuration and set an Anomalo instance host and your Anomalo secret token in your environment so that Gemini has access to Anomalo. Now, I'm going to quit out of Gemini, and I'm going to run an install instruction to get the Anomalo extension directly installed into Gemini. So I'll just grab our GitHub repo for the extension, and I'll say Gemini extensions, install, and give it that URL of our project. Gemini is going to go and find that project, host it on GitHub. It's going to make sure that you're comfortable installing our code. And now it's been installed successfully. So now when I rerun Gemini, it's going to discover Anomalo's extension and load our MCP server. Now our extension is built with enterprise in mind. So it's using a local MCP server packaged inside of the Gemini extension, and it's running with your Anomalo credentials. So Gemini has the exact same access to Anomalo that you do. And the Anomalo requests are sent directly to your Anomalo deployment. No additional services or network permissions required. So it's just like you're accessing Anomalo directly from your machine yourself. So now once it's initialized, I can run MCP/MCP command here, and that'll give me a preview of what the Anomalo extension and any other MCP servers you've got have to offer. So you can see we provide a bunch of tools, and we even provide some prompts that allow really help Gemini understand how to use Anomalo effectively. So first, let's just make sure that we're connected. So I'm going to ask Gemini, what Anomalo org am I connected to? Because as you may know, Anomalo is a multi-tenant application, and you may have access to more than one organization. So Gemini is going to prompt you to get confirmation that you want to call tools inside of the Anomalo extension. In this case, yes, I'm going to say I trust all of the Anomalo tools. Go ahead and do it. It reaches out, it calls the Get Organizations tool, gets back the fact that we only have access to one organization, and that's currently our active one, and it's going to tell me that I'm connected to the public datasets org. Great, super simple. So we happen to be monitoring some crypto transaction tables that Google provides in BigQuery and their public dataset. So let me just find out what's going on with crypto today. And in fact, I'd like to know what these tables are. So let's go with, give me a summary of the data in our tables tagged as crypto. So now Gemini is going to have to reason through, how do I look for tables based on tag in Anomalo? You can see it's going to call get configured tables. It's going to pull down table profiles from all of these different tables through the Anomalo API. It's going to review the findings. And pretty quickly, you can see that it was actually able to pull a number of tables. It found that we're looking at Ethereum contracts, transactions, Aptos mainnet, etc. Right? So it gives me a little bit of information about all these. I could ask it to dig deeper, but really what I'm interested in today is, are there any quality problems in the transactions table? If so, explain what's going on. We'll just let that run for a minute. Again, this is a fair amount of data for Gemini to pull down and process, so it can take a few seconds. Oh, it was pretty quick. So yeah, so there's two problems in our transactions table here, or two failed checks. One, population stability index for the gas price has failed. So that's interesting, right? That suggests that there's been a shift in the gas price for transactions, and it's not behaving like the historical norm. And then the hash column has a pattern mismatch. So 100% of records do not match this pattern. So this looks like maybe we have a misconfigured check, right? Like a data quality check shouldn't fail on 100% of the records unless we actually have a significant problem in the data we've loaded into the table. So let's say that, imagine that I've actually realized, I'm an analytics engineer and I've realized there's a problem in one of my models. I've gone ahead and changed that and rerun the model in pre-prod, and I want to make sure that this data is up to date and that everything's working correctly, right? Right here, from my workflow, I can just say, rerun the checks on the transactions table. So what this is going to do is it allows me to actually tell Anomalo to queue up and trigger checks and reprocess that table and make sure that everything looks good. And so as you saw there, what happened, Gemini found our run quality checks tool, it identified the right table ID for the transactions table, and it returns back a check run ID, which we can use in the future to see if those checks have completed running or if they're still running. So the great thing about the chat conversation in the LLM context is I can just say, like, are those checks done running? It's got the context, it knows what I'm talking about, it has that latest check run ID right there in the history. They're still running. Check again in a few minutes. So that's what I wanted to show you today. It's a super quick preview of the possibilities when you integrate Anomalo into your agentic tools and workflows. If you're using Gemini CLI, highly recommend going to find the Anomalo Gemini extension on GitHub, install it, and give it a try. And thanks so much for watching.